Hello, greetings from Barefoot Law. Welcome to our segment where we are commemorating the 16 days of activism against violence against women and girls. I will allow our guest from one of our partner organizations to introduce herself.
I'm Nabirye Harriet from Uganda Women's Network UWONET. I'm a social worker by profession, and I'm the social worker, Kamuli Advisory Center.
I would want to first understand what type of work you do with UWONET and also what emotional and psychological violence.
UWONET does a lot in as far as GBV is concerned. I would like to inform you that UWONET has 3 thematic areas it deals with. One is women in leadership. 2 is economic empowerment or empowering women. Then another one is women access to justice. We have activities like mediations, follow-up, investigations, sheltering, because we have that shelter component. We have, in fact, it deals with all the forms of violence: psychological violence, economical violence, and sexual violence, and physical, psychosocial, economical, and then sexual. Those are the 4 forms of violence that it deals with.
What would you describe physical or emotional violence to be?
At first, we were dealing with all sorts of violence, and it was physical violence, which was at high level. But now it is psychological, because men are tired of beating women. They are tired of fighting, because when he fights, he's automatically taken to police, automatically taken to any stakeholder. But now psychological is something hidden, that when someone is tortured, when someone is psychologically violated, she cannot openly come up and report. So what they do, they just mistreat them, they torture them silently, and someone just silently die.
What do you think we take for granted in those situations? Do you think that there's something we should be doing more to highlight some of these things?
In that aspect, I would like to share how we handle psychological violence in our office. One, in the first instance, we do counseling, because we have social workers, we have counselors, we do counseling. Because when someone is going through psychological violence, she is mentally ill. So we take that person through counseling and at least give her hope that there is a life to live again. We have mediations. We do get the 2 parties and mediate, and we settle the matter amicably. We do follow up, because at times even after mediation, you find that someone is not satisfied.
Yes.
Because issues of psychological violence, someone at times may not open up. She may just keep quiet. She may come with another issue. For example, she may come up with an issue of failure to provide. Yet the real issue is, for example, denial of conjugal rights, denial of sex.
Why do you think, as a community, as a nation, we never see psychological violence as a serious issue compared to any other forms of violence?
It's not easy to identify it, because at times someone may be psychologically tortured just because she is going through physical violence. So she reports the physical violence, which is seen, but psychologically she is tortured. Because in the process of being battered, tortured physically, there are sometimes some words that may come in that psychologically affects that person. So you cannot say, the man assaulted me. So you intervene on the point that she was assaulted, but not knowing what came in, what came next. You know, at times, for example, from cases of like sexual violence, like defilement, At times, the relatives may turn against the victim or the survivor verbally. Now that our son has been arrested, now that you will enjoy the whole world. Now, you see such things. So someone cannot come up and express that this is what I'm going through. That's where the component of the shelter comes in, as UWONET, to identify that inner feeling. So what we do, we shelter that person.
Until they can identify
We interact, not until she opens up and we identify that hidden problem she's going through.
Thank you so much. Yes.
What I could add on is that emotional violence, just like all other violence that we are fighting this year, you know, we need to unite to make sure that all sorts of violence, including emotional violence, is eliminated amongst women and children.
Could you maybe highlight some of the parties or institutions that are responsible for such systems to be in place for this to happen?
Okay, I'll start off from the basic unit, the family. Find a trusted person who you can confide in. Do not deal with some of these things on your own. We have, within the local communities, we have these mothers, for lack of a better word, aunties, who are women of high standing within society. Reach out to them. Some of them have had trainings. For instance, at Barefoot Law, we go out there and, you know, train some of these leaders on how to help someone who, you know, needs access to justice. And so because of that, if you actually reached out to them, they may be in a position to help you. If you go to the police, we have the people we call Mama Police. You see, they can be able to help you under the Family and Children's Desk. You go to them and you tell them, this is what I am going through. If I move on to the judicial system, did you know that under, of course, if I delve straight into, let's say, for instance, you're trying to get a divorce. One of the grounds is cruelty, you see. But do you know that you can also have a ground of psychological, you know? The cruelty being psychological, it is no longer only physical. Yes? Then, initially, it was more of, oh, this person used to beat me, used to do this. But now you can actually prove to court. Of course, you have to prove to court in various ways, which may be a discussion for another day. The law can come in to assist you and help you deal with this emotional violence that you're going through. And at the end of the day, if it's about women and girls for us all, us speaking up may help another girl. You see, may help another girl. It's unfortunate that some people realize it after it's gone a little bit too far. But at the end of the day, we as girls and children, women, need to know that we have a way out by just speaking up.
I think everyone has a story. Do not keep quiet. Psychological violence is real, and it's better to talk to someone about it and share your experience. Thank you so much. This has been the team from Barefoot Law.